Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. Welcome back to another stream for FrodoNL. I notice I have a little bit of some on my moustache. That's what you get when you eat just before stream. Today I'm gonna do another first year off, like I did earlier this week for the Spectrum. And today I'm gonna go for the Acorn BBC Micro. The Acorn BBC Micro came out in December 1981, and there are actually 3 pieces of software listed as being published in 1981, but those I couldn't find on my system. I went for the 1982 games because that seems more honest compared to other systems. Since the BBC came out that early, it does mean that there were quite a number of games available in 1982. I had to make a selection of those because that would mean over 100 games. I was going to test them all, and I'm not up to that for one stream. So we will go through about 20-25 games that I selected. I have a list printed somewhere, and of course I misplaced the list now. There it is. And we'll just go through it for now in alphabetical order. It is one way to go. Hi, Curtis. Yeah, I'm probably going to do that for a number of systems, just going through their first year of games. See what is on there, to have some idea of how they started. Because a lot of things they came up with at the start. How are you doing, Curtis? Nice to see you again. Okay, I have to change keyboards so I can actually do what I need to do on my BBC Micro. As you know, of course, I'm doing this on my MiSTer FPGA, and I hope the screen is set correctly. It looks correct. As you can see, this is what you would normally see if you started up a BBC, with some extra things here, because this is breakfast. Okay, breakfast works. I just had a little snack because it was 2 hours after lunch again, so I need that these days. But yeah, we have a number of games here, and I have to search a bit. I will reset so it automatically loads the menu I use for that. And we'll just go through them from the top. So the first one I selected is 3D Maze, a very basic game really. I think even literally. But it gives some idea of what the very first games were like. Okay, we start northwest. It's a very basic maze game. And we just go through and we hope we remember the maze correctly. Now this is just a small maze, one can go up to larger sizes, but for an early game this is actually not bad at all, I feel. Now I hope I have to go to this one, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I think so. Unless I went wrong there. We'll see in a moment. No, I went correct. So, a very simple game, but it's interesting in the way I looked at it. And I wonder if I can break into the basic. Yes, I can. So yeah, it's actually a basic game. It works. With the way that BBC did graphics, it was doable even in basic to do semi-3D. We go to the next one. It's a bit different games. We will see quite a few shoot 'em ups, etc. Alien Destroyers from 1982 by Micropower. The BBC, of course, had the 6502 processor and 6502, and had a decent sound chip in there too. It's kind of funny how the game was sold by Micropower, but in the screen they talk about program power, so I guess they weren't quite sure what they were going to name themselves this early on. Okay, let's check the instructions, because I don't know the keys. Yeah, December 1981. Just at the end of 81 it was officially released, which meant they also undercut the date for the Spectrum, which helped them extra in the whole situation with trying to get a deal with the BBC. They probably would have gotten it anyway, because the Spectrum really was far off the specs that the BBC had asked for, especially with the rubber keyboard, etc. BBC wanted a real keyboard, and well, the Acorn BBC did deliver that. The Acorn BBC, by the way, which was originally called Acorn Proton, after the previous one was Acorn Electron, and before that they had the Acorn Atom. But, well, with the BBC deal, they, of course, made sure to name it after the BBC. And they made a lot of sales because of that, especially to schools, etc. Okay. What skill levels do I have? Easy to hard. Okay, let's not go too easy. Bomb speed. Okay. Yeah. Good morning, Oniva. How are you? Good to see you again. Let's go with yes. And no. And we do sound. Yes, that's correct. We will see more Space Invaders-like games. This one actually had a few non-standard things, if I remember correctly, so I will, after the first game, change the settings a bit, because I seem to remember when bombs drop, they have extra bombs that can explode and create bombs that go diagonally. And that was not very good. How do you mean having an issue, Oniva? What kind of issue? No, I'm okay. Why? Yeah. Just not playing very well, but that's a different thing. No, I want to change some stuff. Skill level we leave at 3. Bomb speed we leave at 1. Yes. Yes. This we set to no this time. Fast pace we leave at no, and sound input yes. Yes. I guess it's a look of concentration, dear. Yeah, now we get the packages which are exploding bombs. Something you didn't see in too many of the early games. It made for a variation in the difficulty of the game. I don't know, Curtis, have you seen anything like this, these kind of bombs in any of the other variations on Space Invaders? On any system? Nothing wrong with my constitution today, no worries. Okay, Han. Have fun, and well, see you later. Yeah, it made for quite a different game than the standard Space Invaders games. I'm going for... I actually have to move my mic a bit. Let's see if we can do that without losing audio. Have a good lurk, Han. But yeah, because I was not seeing my keyboard, and for some games you do need to see your keyboard at times. Arcadians, another shoot 'em up. I can actually do this with, but I can also do it. Yeah, caps lock and control were in a bit of a weird position on the BBC Micro keyboard compared to what we're used to now. They would be next to each other, so in this case I would expect to go up and down with it, but... Okay, we do a one-player game. I forgot to check what the fire was, but I will check that, see that in a moment. Probably the home key or the space. No, return then? Yeah, return. BBC is often not thought of as a gaming system because most people think of it, well, it was learning in high school. But there were quite a few, actually quite decent games for it, as you can see, even this early on. Ah, just couldn't escape that one. I trust, by the way, that the levels are okay, because otherwise I'm sure I would have heard something already. Ah, duh. Let's try this again. Yeah, it's pretty decent. I think we will see another one in a bit, because if I remember correctly we have a number of them in here. Or similar games at least. But this is quite playable. Graphics are, yeah, decent enough. It's a low resolution, but yeah, we know that. That's for multiple colors you want lower resolution. That's the same on most systems back in the day. As you notice, I basically play Galaxians a lot like I would play Space Invaders. I do it pretty badly too. That's also the same as on Space Invaders. Oh, what the heck. I can also go for these two first. Well, one of them. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking what do we get next. Ah, yeah. You can see that the graphics, graphics mode is not perfectly for text. Ah, yeah. Let's have a look at attract mode. Of course, the 6502 didn't have the best options for moving data and assembly quickly, so you see a bit of drag on the scroll here. That was already a lot more doable on the Z80 and of course especially on the CPUs you are used to, Curtis, these days. Okay. Let's try one more time. I should be able to at least make it through the first level. That one. Not the way I was playing. The BBC had the capability of multiple modes on the screen. And that is clearly used at the bottom for the and the top for the text. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, because I haven't made it through the wave yet. But it looks like it, because I do see one flag at least at the bottom, so... Ah. Nope. And we won't see it this way, but it looks like it will, because as I said, I see one flag there. I saw one flag at the bottom. Okay, let's try the next game. I reset because I use this menu and I have a list of what is on which page and which line. Yeah, the keys on this one are a bit irritating. DF, J for thrust, K for fire, and 8 for the space bomb. Okay. Okay, well, we of course recognize what this is. Ah, missed. Next time it comes by with a bit of luck. Yeah, there we go. There's a lot more playable than some of the variations we saw on the Spectrum on Thursday. Of course, it doesn't help if you don't pay attention. And that I'm not going to make in time. Let's try one more time. Okay, lucky there. I came closer than I expected. Next time, hopefully. Nope, it's gone further away instead of closer. As you will have noticed, I'm really not very good at shoot 'em ups, etc. And Asteroids is not an exception there. No, it doesn't have shields, but it does have a space bomb in which the whole everything moves around, but you only have a limited number of those, it seems. I think I used them already. In which you can change the direction of everything on the screen quickly. It's one way to do it, I guess. Nah, that wasn't in time. But it's quite playable. By a decent player, of course. Which I'm far from. What do we have next? Ayah Atlantis. Another game also from, as I said, all of these are from H2. Yeah, it did have hyperspace, yes, but I hate using hyperspace because you never know where you end up. Okay, left, right, AZ, shift and tab, okay. Let me do that differently because I don't like those keys. Up, down, forward, stop, fire. Ah, bomb. Okay. Okay, good thing they add that one is hard. Let's go for level 5 because okay, looks like something is interfering here. Probably my joystick. Let's see if that's correct. No. Why is this acting up? Because It automatically moves up and it doesn't react to my joystick. Let's see if I swap joysticks, if that makes a difference. No. This is weird because I know I tested this and then it worked. Let's do reset and try it once more. 6L. No. Actually do yes, because there was one game I know where you couldn't change your keys unless you went through the instructions. Okay, now it works better. Yeah, it does, huh? To some degree it's... Oops. Oh, fun. We won't have any snow here, we just have grey weather. There will probably be some rain in a bit, but if that's... Ah! Yeah, it does remind me of Sea Dragon. You also are not allowed to fly into... or to go into the explosion in this one. I seem to remember that happened in Sea Dragon too, eh? As I just said, you're not supposed to fly into the explosion. Or get into the explosion. No, it would have been similar on the original, a bit at least. It depends a bit on the monitor more, I think. I think it's just off the correct frequency for modern monitors. That's probably the most issue, but there would be a little bit of shaking, but you wouldn't notice that back in the day on our CRTs, because it was such a small change. Of course, nowadays we have it too perfect with the screens, so is that correct? No, I'm on the wrong page. 9. Yeah, 9. 9R. See? That's one. Bomber Baron. Okay, let's go for something very simple. We know that under a lot of names, of course. Bomber, Bomber Plane, Bomber Baron in this case. I thought, well, we can go for the special games. We can also have a look at some of the really standard stuff. We of course had these on all systems basically, often as type-ins and magazines too. Timing on this one is a bit more difficult than I'm used to. I probably won't make it, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't know if there's any system that didn't have a version of this. Okay, I have to hope now. Ah, missed the last one. But yeah, this was of course available on any system. Just a quick interview. Yeah. Classic game. As some of you may know, I prefer this with the tracker ball, but that's not an option. And if you look at the instructions, there is an issue with this version. We can move left and right. We cannot move up and down. Which makes this game a lot harder than the original, because you can't avoid anything that is at the bottom. Interesting, you can shoot through a toad, which you normally shouldn't be. You should be able to destroy it, but not shoot through it. Okay, so now I'm gonna have a problem, because I'm not gonna make this here. Unless I happen to hit them both. Okay, and I can't avoid them now. Which makes it one of the hardest versions I know of Centipede. And it's not exactly slow either, as you saw. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, eh? Any other version of Centipede I ever played, I can move up and down, but this one is missing that. And then there's variations. You have versions like the one that's played on the Spectrum first. Once they go off the screen at the bottom, they end again at the top. Or you have the more standard ones where they go up about 5 lines, start going up again for about 5 lines, and then when they reach that 5th line or 6th line, they go down again, and yeah, then you get an extra thing to shoot. But yeah, exactly, a bit of little movement. That's all you need, really. Preferably about 3 or 4 spaces, but 1 can be enough. But yeah, this is the first one I ever saw that was missing that. Which was also the reason why I didn't play it much back in the day, because it was irritating. It just wasn't the same game to me because of that. No. This is back in the day when people didn't pay attention to licenses, because if you look here, you see there's another Centipede from a few years, 1 or 2 years later, and you'll see that a lot. There's a lot of games in those days that were not official. Oh yeah. Now, if I remember correctly, yeah, they solved the solution of the problem with city defense, or what was the original title? I can't think of the name now. But the original, you had once again the mouse, or you needed the mouse, or you had the tracker ball. This one, you have the 3 bombs, or the 3 guns with various keys, and then you can move the last one you shot with bit left and right. 1 player. It makes it different. So now I can actually move this. We'll make it there. You can only move the last one you shot off. But that can just be enough to help with a bit. It's an interesting variation on a well-known game. Ah, missed it. And I'm dead here, because the last city just went. And actually my last bomb are now gone too. Yeah, missile command, but done a bit different. Adapted in a, I think, good way for use with a keyboard. Because most versions, if you try to play with a keyboard or joystick, it just takes away from the way it plays. But they made a quite a different take on it, and it works. I don't have a lot of experience with it, so that's. But I remember seeing it back in the day, and yeah, it was one of the few Missile Command style games that I actually found playable with a keyboard. You will notice that in this with this system I work a bit different than on others, because the Spectrum I usually just go per file, but this has one hard drive, a virtual hard drive with a load of games on there. Once again a classic that was, I think it was in arcade, but we also saw it on the 2600, etc. and on other systems, of course. One player. Let's do difficulty 4. And now let's hope that I know the keys, because I didn't set them, I think. For some reason it went through it too quickly. Or is it set to joystick? That might also be an option. No. No. Okay, I found one key, I guess. Okay, A and Z. And what's the fire? X. Okay. Another classic game. We were easily pleased back in the day. And that was not good. I might lose this one. Nope, not yet. I did. We'll do a best of 5. Yeah, it was something like that. It might have been Tomb's Outlaw, actually, yes. This, of course, is more fun when playing with 2 players, but it works with 1 player. With the 1 player option is pretty decently implemented in this one. Hi, Pesh! Nice to see you here. That's okay, that's okay. No need for an apology. I'm just glad you are here. I know a lot of people assumed they were following me because they were so used to seeing me in Twitch Sing streams that they thought that they had followed me through Twitch Sings. But since I didn't sing, most people didn't actually. Okay, I heard a sound here. I'm not sure what that was. It might have been for the follow, but... How are you doing, Ash? Ash. Why do I say Ash? Old age, I guess. Yeah, as you see, I'm playing old games. 1982 games for the BBC Micro, a system that came out in December 1981. And I'm basically going through the first number of the games from the first year the system was out, to show off what we thought were good games back in the day. And some of them are still very playable. Ah, yes. I enjoyed your stream last night. Yeah, these are for before your time. There's actually a variation, as Kurt has already noticed, of a game that was black and white in the arcades in the 1970s. I never played the original, but I played this kind of variations back in the day, including this specific game. You will see most of the games that I play are from before your time. Most games I play are from the 80s and in some cases from the first half of the 50s. Okay, we'll do first to 5, which should be me, because I'm better than the computer, of course, at this. At least at this level. Just not if I do those kind of things. Or this. I wasn't gonna ask about age. I had some idea that you were from around that time, but I wasn't gonna ask. They did try to educate me and didn't always succeed, but in some cases they did. I learned that certain things you don't do. So I just assumed you're 29 plus a bit of experience. You might see me play games from those machines too at some point. Because I actually had the stream Thursday when I did the ZX Spectrum, which was my second computer ever, and did there the first year off. And I actually like the idea of doing that for quite a few of the systems I run on this MiSTer FPGA. And the NES and the Genesis are in there too. So they might come up too at some point. Which will be interesting because I never owned a console. I played a bit on it at the time, but so to me most of the console games are relatively new, and I'm just bad at them. But you also see in my streams that often I go to a lot of games in the stream, probably about 20, 25 today. Often only short for a few minutes, sometimes a bit longer if they're really fun. But yeah, okay, let's not go too fast, because I'm old, you know. This, of course, is just Simon Says, or whatever you want to call it. I like the fact that they actually put colors on the keys that go with the color. So yellow for the Y, the B for blue, C for cyan. And I went wrong there, yeah. I know, I started with red instead of yellow. But yeah, we had these simple games back in the days too. Chances are this is actually programmed in BASIC. Yeah, this was probably done in BASIC actually, I'm expecting Curtis. Although, it's a small chance it wasn't. But yeah, it's standard stuff. The next one is also standard, and we saw a variation on it already. I think it's... of course I have to first reset, so I get to the menu. We go to Galaxians. We already saw a variation on it. This is a bit different variation. This might... There is a very small chance it was officially licensed, but I doubt it. ZX and copy again. It's very similar to the other one, but there are some differences, as you can see. Whoops. Let's try that again. I'm not good at it, but not that bad usually. I just wish I could avoid being shot. The shots go a lot faster than I expect most of the time, and that's a bit of a problem. Would start to guess that I am actually this bad at that game. Okay, one last try. It's gonna be a short try, I think. Yeah, a very short try. Okay. Yeah, they probably because they probably limited to avoid having to do too many explosions. It's playable, but I feel the shooting was too fast on that one. I'm gonna try joystick. It might go wrong, but we'll see. Okay. We went for a bit different version in this game. A bit less quick than the other game. Even I might keep up with this with a bit of luck. For a bit at least. Once again, there's no explosions, but well. The BBC, by the way, had analog joysticks, which Curtis, of course, is used to from the Coco 2. And we also used to have them on the IBM PCs back in the day. Aliens are rather small, so it makes hitting them a bit harder than, say, Space Invaders. Let's try that again. Timing is a bit off, as you can see. We'll see how far we get. This is pure high score game, as you can see. It doesn't seem to have levels so far. Unless, oh wait, I am actually... Might be that it does have levels, because I seem to be ending this level. Surprisingly. Okay, it does have levels. Okay. And they actually changed quite a bit. Tells you how much I played this back in the day. Not very often. We had BBC Micros at my high school from when I was about 15. Before that we had TRS-80s Model 1s and Models 3. And we used them at the computer club, and then the BBC Micros were used both at the computer club and for school. Okay, Pash. Have a good rest of the day and drive carefully, of course. I'm glad to see you in. Bye for now. Hope to see you soon. Let's try one more time. Because now that I know there are levels, I'm wondering what the next level will be like. Ah, I had the timing, and then I lost it on that one. I was trying to think, Kurt, because I of course also want to do this for the Coco. A stream like this. But that will be later on, but I will have to look then if I can find which games are from which year, because that of course... but I think you have the year a game came out on your site for the games, don't you? Or does Archive have it? Okay. I have to search for the timing now, because this moves quite different. Ah, 3 in 1 shot, that works. It's easier to aim when they're closer. Yeah, I seem to remember that, so I should be able to find out what was from the first year. I'm not quite sure if I should at some point do a separate one for Coco 3 games, but that would mean that I would have to go for Coco 3 only. At some point, but we'll see. That will come later on. As I said, I just did a Coco stream last week, so... Oh, how nice. Almost passable. Ain't that nice, huh? One would almost think you were related to, what's his name, the programmer of Digger 3. With his haha, you died. Yeah, something like that for the dragon, I think. The 32 at least. 64, I'm not sure, but we'll see. Ah, yeah. Next we go for a bit of a puzzle game. Just a warning, this game is not fast. G is okay. A is okay. Thankfully, in this specific case, trains will wait when they can't pass a thing, because the white dots are supposed to be trains. E can go. F. As you can see, this is a slow game. C and D, so those two can go through there. We now calmly wait to see if something comes from one of the exits. Yeah, this gives one time to play. And we can change K. Ah, it was just too early, derailed. Oops, 14 killed. Well, you get the idea. The plan is to get trains to the exits without colliding and without derailing them by switching too early, as I just did there. I'm not gonna repeat that because this is just too slow by today's standards. Some train games that we played on the Spectrum were considered too fast by some, but this was just too slow. Where are we? Oh yeah. I may seem to go fast through these games, but there are a few two games later on that will take a bit longer to play, if we're lucky. We're on Meteors 37. Yeah. Once again, you see caps lock and control for left and right. Okay, in this case it doesn't hurt too much. Hyperspace, shift, and return to fire. Okay. Yeah, you can already guess what game this is gonna be, of course. I accidentally moved instead of fired. I wonder, does this one have auto fire on there? Nope, once again, no auto fire on all these games. And why did I start moving there? I keep hitting the wrong key here. Let's stay away from the shift key, but that's just in between the left and right key. So, yeah, it is pretty close to the arcade by... As far as, of course, you can do vector graphics on a bitmap screen, especially in a relatively low resolution, but... They did a pretty decent job on this one. I like that you actually get a warning when the UFO is coming. There's another one, clearly. And this one is a lot more playable than that one on the Spectrum, where the bullets just came way too quick and three of them next to each other instead of in line. Yeah, of the Asteroid variations I've been playing lately, this is probably the most playable and also the closest to the arcade version. Whoops. That was unlucky. Talking about whoops, I missed at least two earlier, so I might as well add them, otherwise Wen will be upset with me. I don't know. Will I make it long enough to be able to see that? Or maybe have a look at this, maybe they come by. They do have a bit of an attract mode, but yeah, there it is. The small saucer is that too. In purple. So yeah, pretty complete version actually. Which number? 38. Yeah, I thought so too. Now this one you also might recognize as a clone of a famous game. And as so often the first level is quite doable. Oops, that's the wrong position to go up. Exactly. Not. Yeah, that was a mistake. Too late. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure which. I think I first played the version on the Spectrum back in the day, but or maybe on the ZX81, because there was a version on the ZX81 actually, if I remember correctly. Yeah, dig on the wrong side. Well, once again, a pretty decent conversion, playable, especially if you're better than me, of course. What do we have next? Ah, yeah. Pyros in space. I have a feeling this is also a conversion of something, but I'm not quite sure what it is. Ah, lost one already. I have to protect the colonies or whatever they are from the pirates and try not to get hit. It looks so familiar, Kurt, but I don't know what from. Or maybe I might be wrong, but isn't this a lot like? Isn't there a game like this on the Vectrex? Ah, okay, there was a Coco version. I just realized that there was something similar to this on the Vectrex, I think. The Vectrex would make sense for a game like this, of course, because, let's be honest, this is made for vector graphics, eh? Yeah, because there's so many games out in 82 on the BBC, I actually sorted through them last night. Well, I should say this night. I went to bed at way too late. Or way too early, depending on how you look at it. Because I was going through them till about 4 AM my time, and then afterwards I actually played a bit of Jackbox games with a friendly streamer. So I think I got to bed by about 7 AM this morning. And then I noticed I'm no longer 20 when I do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know, and if I'm not hiding it from you, so don't worry. My last ship. It's always interesting how certain people are always lurking and not listening until you say something they like to hear or want to hear. It's the same with all those Canadian women, Curtis, or is it just on Nevada that's that way? Uh-huh, sure. Yep, you're special, alright, I know. Uh-huh. First do this. I think all you think, okay. I was wondering if you're trying to stay out of it, Curtis, or not. Box rate. You will see Acorn subs quite a bit, because especially at first, of course, they needed games, so they made a lot of them, they published a lot of them themselves. Ah yeah, this one is easier with the joystick, because that combines bombing and fire in one go. Later, hon. Have fun getting a new phone. Ah, bummer. I hope to get through that level. Let's try that again. Yeah, it's fast, eh? It's really fast. But yeah, it works pretty well. I just wish it was a bit less fast. It's a pretty complete clone though. We've seen way worse versions of this. Oh, come on, I made it through the first level before, so I should be able to do that again. I like actually how they solved the problem with do you bomb or do you fire with the fire button, by just combining them in one fire button. Now if only they had done that on the Spectrum version Penetrator 2, would have made it a lot easier than the stupid forward to shoot. Okay, but yeah, this is way faster than the arcade, but it's still quite playable. With a bit of practice, I should be able to get quite a bit further than I did now. But, well, with the way I play these games, as you know, I don't get that much practice. That's okay. Next one. Ah, yeah. Of course, so far we hadn't seen any Pac-Man variations, and there are a number of them in the early one, but some of them are really bad. I just have to find the keys on this one. Yeah, ZX, and it's probably... No, which ones did they use? These ones? Yeah, okay. Let's take a bit of risk to start with. the ghost movements are different than you would expect from the original Pac-Man, so it takes a bit of getting used to, but it's still quite playable. Oops. Almost went wrong there, but I was lucky. If I remember correctly, yeah. It's a quite reasonable conversion to a 4x3 screen instead of 3x4. Yeah, I expected Coco to have similar issues with some of them, but it makes a big difference if you can do it with one fire button. I don't know if you played that Penetrator version that I was mentioning there earlier, Coco, on the Spectrum, Curtis. Because yeah, there they put firing on the forward button, so a moving right button, and that was, to say the least, very irritating, because it made it hard, because you only fired if you pressed it short, and it moved if you held it a bit longer, and timing that was not the easiest thing to do. Ah. Let's just see if we can finish it off. The one dot there at the top might make it difficult for me. I don't want to eat any ghosts right now, because... stupid. This I probably won't make in time. Not if they go after me like that. No. That wasn't very good. Oh well, let's try one more time. This is actually one of my favorite versions when it comes to 8-bit home computer version of Pac-Man. Of course, nowadays we have the recodes, etc., which basically use the original arcade version, but back in the day we had to make do with these kind of things. This one was, compared to others, quite decent. As you may have noticed, I use Pac-Man Ghost for my subscriber emote, so one might think that I am into Pac-Man, and that's true. I'm not the best player, but I do enjoy the game. Let's leave the ghosts alive, so I can move here without any risk of them suddenly coming back to life. I'm playing better now than the previous time. At least I'm getting through a few levels now. Ah, we moved just out of the way. Where do we go? Okay, this way then. Bit of luck. No, just couldn't do it. Nope, no intermissions, but at least it's a playable version. At least as far as I know, no intermissions. It has been a few years since I played it, so I may have forgotten that there are intermissions, but it would surprise me if there were. Go after me. Yes. Nah, no intermission at all, it seems. It does get quicker though. Probably, yeah. Let's first clean up here, because that will be harder to get to later on. And now have a bit of luck. Yeah, looks good. They also seem to have changed the order of the bonuses a bit, because that's a shame. But yeah, the ghosts act quite different from the original game in this one. Oops, I'd expected him to come after me. Well, we'll do it the second way then. And there are moments when I notice that it's a good thing that I ordered a new chair to come here sometime next week or the week after. Because I just don't get enough. Hey, Aaron. Good morning. Still. I'm okay, how are you? I'm playing game. Okay, my apologies. Something went completely wrong there. I don't know what happened. Something must have hit a key. I didn't realize what happened. Sorry about that. I was still... I had already started again on this one. That's gonna be an interesting editing job. I must have accidentally hit my end screen on the... Sorry about that, guys. I hope you're still there. That was not the plan. Hey, yeah, I'm using a app on the phone instead of what some people use to change scenes, and I must have accidentally just hit it when I moved my list of games back. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm playing. I'm trying to say, I'm not sure what you heard of that, but I'm playing games for the BBC Micro today. From the first year it was around. It technically came out in December 1982. And the games I'm playing, of 1981, sorry. But I'm playing the game from 1982. And I'm planning on doing that for multiple systems. I did that for the Spectrum, of course, on Thursday. BBC Micro today, and I will do that basically for most of the systems I have available on my MiSTer. Just going through what kind of games did you see there in the first year. And there will be some very bad games. We have seen a few pretty bad ones, but we also seen a few very interesting ones. This, for instance, I find an interesting variation on Galaxian or stuff like that. In that the aliens reappear in a different way there. Now you don't see that at the moment, but normally we see that they move back to their own position. But here they actually move to the top and wait till the others are moved out of the way before they start moving down again. That wasn't done. That wasn't very good. Ah, bummer. I set it to the medium level, but it's pretty quick, I must say. I hope Curtis didn't think I was really ending there, because that was not my plan. I have 66 pages of games on here, and some are better than others. We go for another shooter. Same keys actually. Let's go for mild. This was one of the better Space Invaders clones I found from the first year. It's not perfect, but it's playable. The speed is reasonable, especially at the lower level, as I said now, and it seems pretty complete. That was a miss. Almost. There we go. Can we hit it this time? About... yeah, no, too early. As you may remember from when you did your BBC Micro episode of ARG Presents, I had some experience with BBC Micro from back in my high school days, since we had them in high school at some point. But some of these games I had never seen. Some of them I did before. Oops. Not good. It's kind of interesting. A lot of people think of the BBC Micro as educational games and such, but there were quite a few decent arcade games on there too, as you can see. Not all perfect, but quite a few were quite decent. Ah, that's a shame. Let's try once again, see if I can get through at least the first screen. Yeah, Acorn got a bit lucky in that Sinclair tried to save a bit too much money when they came out with the Spectrum. Because the BBC, the broadcasting organization, had a few things they specifically asked for, and one of them was a real keyboard. Which Sinclair didn't do. They went for the rubber keyboard, and while that wasn't a bad keyboard actually, it was quite usable. It was just not what the BBC wanted, so that's why Acorn... that's a big part of why Acorn got the deal in the end. And do you remember what the original name was for what became the Acorn BBC, Aaron? Okay. Well, the two computers that Acorn had made before that, well, there were three, but the two most recent then were the Acorn Atom, and after that the Acorn Electron. And what became the BBC Micro was originally called the Acorn Proton. So they went just down through the atoms. But of course, when the BBC got involved, they had to get something. They had to get the name in there, so that's why the Proton as such never came out, but that was what became the BBC Micro, yeah. Yeah, especially in schools, of course, because yeah, the keyboard... They wanted kids to learn, and if you have a real keyboard, that does help, because then they can also learn typing skills, real typing skills. For games, the Spectrum rubber keyboard wasn't that bad, but for real typing, it wasn't the best, of course. Ah. Oh well, at least that was a better score than the first time. What do we have? Ah yeah. We have another classic. Now there were different versions, but this I found was the most playable version of Frogger. Do I want any modifications? Sound I want on. Change keys? Yes, because as you know, I want decent keys to work with that I'm used to. There we go. This is not a perfect game, but it is better than most versions you will find in the first year on the BBC Micro. Later on better versions came out, but for a start... And that was a mistake. Oh well. These of course are the days when people didn't care too much if they ripped off a known game. Often even with the original name, and then they changed it, but there we go. Oops. I think I heard some Yankee Doodle there. There are a few small changes compared to the original, of course, but it's a playable version with reasonable graphics. I used to be better at this, but I'm still making it sometimes at least. Ah, time. I got a time issue. Because unlike the original version, the time here is for all frogs, not just one. With the original Frogger, you get a time reset, I seem to remember, per frog that you start with. Uh-oh, I have to be careful with that animal there, because you don't want to run into that. With that dolphin or whatever in the water there, I am not taking the risk of staying on that one. Am I gonna make this in time? I have to be a bit lucky now. I might just make it. Just. Phew. I'm not quite sure if we get the snake and such in this one. We might not. Oops. The road seems quite a bit busier though. Oops. Forgot that the log went faster than the dolphin. But they made a quite playable, decent graphics for a Frogger clone. Once again, there are way more decent arcade games on the BBC Micro than most people realized. Of course, as I said, this is the first year of the BBC Micro. Ah, time is up. So you don't really see the really innovative games yet, apart from a few small things in there. That will come in later years, of course. And sorry I booped the microphone there. But for an early game, this is pretty decent. Yeah, I have 2 games left. And they are, they will take a bit longer to try. I decided to just for fun have a look at a relatively early version of a football manager kind of game. This from 1982 World Cup, so the Netherlands weren't in there, so I have to choose a different country. Let me see who was in there that year. Let's go with Belgium. Ah, we must come up with our own names, because they probably didn't have enough memory to have all the names in there. Who cares? Ah, I'm not allowed to use numbers. I'm not gonna be smart today. Who cares about names? I have not played it, I only checked that it would load. There. Okay, now I didn't see which teams I was playing against, but we'll just check. I see they went a bit further with some stuff in this game, but they play with a sweeper, so probably one defensive. Intercept. Yep. Attacking. They're using a sweeper. Slow build up. Tackle hard. Far post. Make a wall. So you see there's a bit of a different variation on a Football Manager than, well, Football Manager was. Nope. We'll see what it does now. No idea. I hope it's doing something. I really hope it is. Yeah, at least it doesn't react to the keyboard, so it's probably doing something in the background. We are, of course, talking about a 2 MHz 6502 processor, so if it came to calculations, it wasn't the fastest machine. We wait. Let's wait a bit longer, see what happens. How did your stream go last night, Aaron? Because I saw you were on, but at the time I was in the middle of a game with another streamer. Okay, this doesn't look like it goes on now. You played Amiga, I think, last night, eh? Now this looks like it doesn't react anymore. That's a shame. Okay, well, then we'll skip that one, and I go for something. You used the Amiga. How's it going now with that? Okay, as you can see, we have standard text adventures. Good, because you were having some problems earlier, I know, but you solved those. Does it allow us? Yeah, it does. Ah, here we go. There's something at least happening here. In what way is it challenging, Aaron? Ah, look, it's just okay. One of those, yeah. I have that problem if I want to use the VGA output on my MiSTer. I also have a problem because that only does, for most stuff, it only does 15K, and that is difficult to grab these days. But no, what commands do I have available? Southwest. Yeah, that would be useful. That's what I do with my MiSTer, thankfully. Edge of a fast flowing river. Boat is moored here. I have no idea what the commands are because I decided to just go for a random text adventure. Because people nowadays, of course, are not used to this, but... Okay, so we can't get through here. We go back then. Let's see if we should go into the forest or not. Very dense, it's hard to force apart. You will be advised to go back west and get out quickly. Would we now? Let's see what happens if we try to go into the forest. Okay, we die. So we don't do that. We try again. I'm just taking everything because I'm assuming they didn't put in a weight-based inventory yet. Okay, we can't go very far to the west, as we know. And to the east we get to the forest, so there must be somewhere else to go. What can we do with that boat? No. Ah. I have to type it out completely. Okay. No. What could it be? Hi, 48K RAM. You're coming in near the end of my stream. Well, depends a bit on how long I'm gonna be playing this adventure. Ah, you're gonna recap again. Okay. Good luck with that. How are you doing, 48K RAM? What was I gonna do? Oh yeah. What happens if I go north here? I can only go west and east. And then we go back here. Okay. Further east. And we know we can't do this, so we go back. I have a feeling I have to do something with that boat, but I don't know how. No. Didn't give me any tips about words that I could use. Save, record and return to restart the game load. Nice on 48k. I know to the east I will run into the wood and I can't get through there. Unless, wait a second. I wonder. No. Yeah, I like that too, 48k. Now, I used to be patient and try everything here, but I guess I'm gonna do something that I wouldn't have done back in the day. I'm gonna see if we can find a playthrough that at least can help me a bit further. What's the title? Firienwood. Of course, we didn't have that option back in the day. Yeah, there is actually a solution on Casa. Okay, what do they say? Well, they're not very happy about it. Tedious, uninteresting game with little point to most of it and few challenging puzzles. Okay. Okay, take keys. Take handle, take hat. We all did that. Ah, I see what I forgot. Okay. I didn't pay attention. Or I didn't know what to do. It seems I can do this. Uh-huh. I'm wearing the hat. Drop. Blanket. It was easier than I expected. Just drop the thing. Now try to go on the boat. Yeah. Now it makes sense with the ham bone. I knew it had to be something with that boat, but yeah. Now, what else do we have here? Yeah, dogs are needs friendly. Let's have a quick look, cuz. Actually, what was that stick? Strange looking stick. Ah, a wizard staff. That explains a lot. Then we know what to do, probably. Because we try to enter again because we're no longer on the boat. Last cave, data since and passage lead off in all directions. Okay, now we're gonna gamble. Okay, the word suit. Why would it mean the word suit? There's nothing else to do here, I think. Let's go back. What is in the east? Door is locked. Is it enter again? Yes. Doesn't seem that. There we go. We are there again. Okay. Let's have a quick try to climb slope. Okay. Okay, of course. We say try climb up, so up is the word we use. These early adventures were rather unforgiving at times, eh? To climb grumpy slides, you're carried down and fall into a river. Lose yourself. Let's go left then. Okay, so it doesn't bring us anything to the west, we go east. You may be able to grab hold of a rock and pull yourself in. Sliding down. Let's try this. Okay, well, at least we got further with a bit of help from the walkthrough. I could do the whole walkthrough, but as they say, it's a boring adventure, so I'm not going there. I will probably at some point in the future take some better adventure. But yeah, this basically concludes today's stream. It's not as long as some of my streams, but I had a limited time today. About 2 hours, not too bad. Let's go to just me. Sorry about this, but it had to be done. Yeah, thank you all for coming by. I hope you liked what you saw so far. It was just a choice of games from 1982 on the BBC Micro. There are way more, but if I have to go through all of them, there's a lot of variation on Space Invaders, variation on Galaxians, variation on Pac-Man, variation on Frogger, and especially the variation on Pac-Man were very bad, most of them, apart from the one I played. Same with the Frogger ones. Yeah, I'll see when I'm back. Might be tomorrow, and otherwise at least Thursday. And I will go for another system where we'll look at the first year of games. Thanks all for coming, and I hope you're having a good day further. I'm in the meantime looking if I can find someone to rate. Let's see, is anyone doing anything retro at the moment? Yes, I know who we're gonna raid. I've raided him before, and most of us know him already. Because Mr. Cola is doing retro, and he is doing today 3DO. Okay, let's have a look at 3DO with Mr. Cola. Mr. Cola always fun to watch, of course. Okay, guys, thanks all, and see you all soon. And this time the